In regular web applications, it's better to create more than one component. This helps in managing the application in different pieces. Although we can create files manually, we will have to make many connections. The CLI is going to make that process very easy for us. In order to make that components communicate with each other, we can use properties that are also called props, which uses square brackets notation to pass along something from the main component to the subcomponent. There are some other imports and inputs we will need to use. So let's see how that works. So let's go to src app and then app.component.ts file. And this is our main component which we're actually working with. So basically what we need to do is we need to generate a new component called director items. So let's do that. Let's open up our terminal here, and I'm going to close the running server. I'm going to type in ng generate component, and the component that I want is director items, and then hit enter. What it does is it creates a component called director item, and inside the app folder you can see here that we have the director items folder. Now basically this created like 4 files for us. Let's see what are those. So if I open this director items over here, and let me expand this a little bit. So there are like 4 files, and there are some files which I will not be using. That is the spec.ts, that's a test file. So I'm going to delete that. I don't need that. And I'm going to get rid of the .css file too. So let's get rid of that one too. And in the director item.component.ts, we don't need the style URL because we'll be using Bootstrap for that. And let's save that. Okay, so now that we have removed the files that we don't need, let's run the server and let's see if everything's still working fine. So I'm going to call this as ngserve and hit enter. It compiled successfully, so we have no problems. Now let's go ahead and look into the component that we created. First, we have the director.component.ts file, and inside that you can see that it automatically imported the component. And let's import the on init too. So I'm just going to say on init. Let's save that. And in the export component, we're going to add implements on init. Let's save that. And inside that, what we're going to do is we're going to create a constructor. And then after that, we're going to say ng on init. And let's save that. So that fixes most of the problems. Now that the component looks exactly like the one we got from the beginning, it also has a selector called app director items, which is over here. Now our job starts to linking these components together. First, let's go to app.component.html, and here we are going to separate the image and the name holder over here. So if we scroll down, you can see that we have these items here, right? So this is the entire thing. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to move all of these items inside this. Okay, so if I open this up, you can see we have this thing. Just copy the selector name, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to app.component.html, and right after this we're going to create a tag called app director items, and then we're going to take all of these items here. So let me just cut this up, and then we're going to move that to director items.html. Just paste it over here. Okay, so let me just tap this a bit and let me save this. Now you can see that here we have a lot of issues showing up that the director has some error. So basically we need to add this to add this name to our director component. So let's go to director item component over here, and then here we're going to add inputs. Then we're going to add the input called director. Okay, and let's close this, save that. Now we need to pass the director in our subcomponent in the templates too. For that, let's go to the app component.html, and here we have our new component, and we will have to pass the director property over here. So what we can do is we can give the square bracket here. I'm going to call this as director, and this inside this we're going to call this as director, and let's save that. Now in the director component that we have over here, we need to add that director. So let's go to this director items component.ts, and inside this on init, what we're going to do is we're going to add that director, and then we'll set that to any. This will solve all the errors on this director items component.html. Now you can go back to your browser and just hit refresh, and everything should look how it was before, because we didn't change basically anything. We just moved the component to the subcomponent. So everything should work as it used to work before.